Hi, I'm Heman Dhingra and my registration number is 26376. I'm from Batch 82 and I'm here to present my paper on designing a training program for managers and conducting appraisals. The objective of my study is to provide a training or to guide a training on how to do a performance appraisals and in hindsight to do identify performance for the longer retention period. The background of my company is basically uh, the company is basically involved in the research work for research work for the last 4 decades now. The employee strength of this company is basically approximately 200. The core business of this company is to provide a market strategy and a market research and go to India market strategy for the foreign companies. The methodology deployed over here, I worked on this project by infusing few mechanisms that help me to understand the needs of each of the managers, department head, and inculcate majority of their needs into a system that we can produce to give benefits. For that, I conducted interview assessment sheets, exit interviews, last year appraisals, and much more. I developed training my objectives while creating the training program for managers, which include like to share the knowledge equipment with the right information and mechanisms so that the performance appraisals as and when it's happening, it must be done in the proper manner. This helped me to narrow down my focus and resources, that is the time limit factor, etc., to keep into the constraint. I have incorporated the training identification, that the defining the training objective of this presentation of this project, designing the training material. I focus on majority of the designing and the implementation part, and then finally the evaluation of the training that includes the feedback as well as the scope of improvisation. For while designing the training, I focus on the importance of this particular program. Like for the senior management, when you talk about it's more to do like what is it for me? That's the concept. Usually, the senior managers or the veteran people, senior managers or managers, those who are very seasoned campaigners for appraisals, they will have the notion, the understanding that okay, this is something. This is not going to something new for me. This is not going to add any relevant point for me. So I should be excluded from this kind of a program. So there was some kind of resistance was there. So I have to ensure that all the participants will be those who are there in the particular training should be well motivated enough. So I included in during my designing and the designing of the training and implementation, I focus on the level of participation, assess their interest. At some pretest was done. I even considered the choice of training program, the characteristics specifying the number of employees who will be training, who will be given training, particularly training their level, their individual differences, the cultural part, etc. I even focus on the duration of the training that was kept in the mind to ensure that the skill that is required to be imparted and the complexity of the subject is very well taken into consideration. The development part, when I talk about the development of the particular program, I ensure that the material handout was done in time, rather before the time I avoid the use of HR jargon, the human resource jargon that we usually use. I kept the material very simple, understanding the hygiene factors of the room, the sequencing of the topic, allowing each participant to absorb the training, giving them the right sort of break in between, giving the interventions, be it through the FAQ mode, be it through the role plays, etc., to ensure that the knowledge of the each session is imparted in their mindset. No, I do understand it's not very easy to change a thought process, but this is just the beginning only of these kind of activities over here. Uh, I also ensured that the task, etc., those the obvious questions, allowing the participants, those tasks for particular module must be covered well. So I didn't allow that to drift in more of a conversation. I kept the hold of the entire presentation, that the sequencing, the guidelines, the complete course content, the outline, the learning activities, the direction, etc., was all under my control, so that I overtake the entire session irrespective of someone being a higher than me in the organization. I incorporate multiple learning styles as well, based on the target audience that I was engaging with. I also consider that there will be some veterans who will be doing the appraisal for the last n number of years, and then there will be some newly promoted team managers as well. Those who will be seeking this with more of an interest. The challenge that I foresee over not foresee rather the challenge that I faced over here was because we were working on hybrid mode. It was very difficult to bring people all together on a one platform, that too for a particular individual that I was working on my own project. But I sought the project approval from my management, and I convinced them that this will be a real benefit to the organization as well, given the complexity and the nature that we are involved in. We can take this further and incorporate as a regular practice for our company as well. Uh, While doing so, like in the process of entire training participants, etc., I kept them motivated to to most of my best of my to the best of my ability. I had the responsibility of leading the participants towards my goal design that at different stages of the project, of at the presentation as well. With the I induced the role play in the training, which worked very well with the employees as they were able to participate as an employee as well as a reporting manager within the space within the space at the same time. This helped basically the majority of the participants to experience the challenges that they would have faced while undergoing the appraisal activities for the first time at least, if not the veteran part. And at the same time, they were able to understand the challenges when they were being assessed, when they were not as a team manager. So I was getting a lot of questions, uh, how I can handle this and that, those kind of challenging activities. So the major focus was basically also on the part like how you will tackle, how you have to be firm and how to have to lenient. You have to give away certain things and then again come back and uh, implement the rules and the policies of the performance appraisal end of the company. As a part of the analysis, I did this finding that okay, I took the my target audience were around 50 employees over there, and out of those, like I got a healthy output of around 90% of the employees. They were really felt they felt that this particular training was really helpful. Yes, of course, they were 10% of the people, those who were not so kind of interest because of the previous experiences, or they felt that this is not something that they will follow. So they were mixed reactions, but predominantly 90% of the people were really happy with the kind of exposure that they were able to get through. As a part of the findings, um, I was I got a very positive reactions from those who were interested in knowing the mechanism of the performance appraisal and how it can make the life of the employee and the reporting manager much easier during the actual interaction. Now, why I'm saying the actual interaction, it is because our appraisals activity will be starting in the month of March and April because we follow the calendar cycle, sorry, the financial cycle. So this is a bit of a, let's say, the eye opener for them as well as for us also. The majority of the participants, I'll say almost all of the participants, they were able to understand the relevancy of the content in the training program that was captured through the feedback, the questionnaire that I've already attached in my project. The analysis was based on the set of the questions that we floated during the session. When I say that during the session, I mean like immediately after the session, the participants were asked about certain questions about the program content, the delivery style, the learning mechanism, the hygiene factors for the environment, etc. So those things were actually considered during our questionnaire. As a final part of the conclusion in the session, I find that since we were quite aware from the annual appraisal from our organization, therefore the action plan for the improvisation was kept in the near future. As people were involved in the process, they were able to understand the importance of the performance appraisal and how it has to be conducted. I'm quite hopeful that I'll be getting very constructive feedback from the employees going when they will be undergoing the actual appraisal cycle. And when I say employees, I'm meaning the reporting managers. As for the suggestion, I believe that project will enable to turn this spark into a burning desire for the management as well to put the system in place for the betterment of the organization and keep improving the same as and when the actual times will come up. Yes, I do understand a lot of criticism will be always coming from the side, but that criticism has to be taken into the positive consideration to improve the performance appraisals cycle as well as the training course material. And going forward, probably I will try to convince my management as well to go for a hybrid mode wherein some sort of lecture can be recorded and that can be shared with some of the new managers. I hope this project will be able to fulfill the desire of the organization and my own personal intent as well. Thank you.